Hi, I'm Callie, and I'm here to talk about my most difficult breakup. It wasn't with someone I was dating, it was with drugs. Drugs were really hard to give up, and I mourned them like I would mourn someone I was dating for years, because I had been dating them for years. They really worked for me until they didn't. And once they stopped working, it was really hard for me to get out of this mindset that I had to keep doing them because they had worked for me at one time. They had made me feel good at one time. So there were all these myths about them that I had to cling on to, right? And giving up those myths, giving up those ideas that I had about who I was, my identity, and the way that drugs served me was really hard. It took a lot of imagination. It took a lot of time connecting with who I'd been before I was a teenager, before I was a drug user. It took a lot of time finding out who I was when I was a little kid. It took a lot of time spending some thinking about magic and mystery in the world, believing that I could feel good without drugs, believing that my brain could regenerate and I could find things I was passionate about. I could have moments of wonder in my life without drugs. And that's something that's really hard to imagine when you're using. When you're using, or at least when I was using, my self-esteem was shot. I had a hard time holding down a job. I was struggling with my family. A lot of my normal friends had left me, so I was around a lot of people that were treating me really badly. So it wasn't creating this place for me that was really easy to imagine myself outside of this drug world, right? It wasn't easy for me to say, oh, I can get out of this hole I've dug myself into. I can see myself having a great job and going back to school. I can see myself putting this down and doing okay. It wasn't easy to do that. But what I did is I latched on to who I was as a little kid. What had given me pleasure and joy when I was a child. Because there's a lot of magic and mystery in the world that we forget about as adults. We forget about things that we love and things that we have dreams of when we're young, especially when we latch on to drugs and especially when we become addicted. And so breaking up with drugs, getting through that relationship, surviving that loss, is all about latching on to big dreams and having some imagination to see yourself on the other side of this big breakup. Because you can make it past using. You can get back into the world, which you've probably fallen off of a little bit if you're using. You can find a good job that you like. You can think about what makes you happy. You can find hobbies or passions or interests that bring you joy. You can make a difference in the world. You can do whatever you want. You can turn to harm reduction and help other users get out of the same situation that you were in. Really, anything you dream to do, you can do it if you're off drugs. So thanks.